Not a Greentext story thread. But I've been listening and interested in Greentext story threads about paranormal phenomenon, and, even though I recognize 99% of those are probably not true, it's still fun to listen to for getting the imagination going. That being said, I've noticed recently that a lot of skinwalker stories aren't actually of skinwalkers but something most people call a fleshgate, and was wondering if anyone knew any genuine info on these creatures. The differences between a genuine skinwalker, fleshgate, goatman, or something like Bigfoot or whatever. Also to add, I notice most skinwalker or fleshgate stories revolve around a creature that seems to be described like the rake. I've also listened to a skinwalker story involving a man who dated a native girl who was related to skinwalker men, and, when he accidentally stumbled across a shrine, one of the men nude and covered in blood approached him and told him to fuck off and leave that girl because he doesn't understand what he is getting into, and he does. Others describing a skinwalker as basically a curse that leaves someone in a permanently spirit-bound state. As for fleshgates, which seem to be completely different but make up around 90% of skinwalker stories, is there any lore in these things outside of internet shit? Such as native lore or anything of that? Have skinwalkers, fleshgates, or other come within conflict, such as if one threatens a land that a skinwalker is bound to protect?
Give me your skinwalker or rake encounters. I can't get enough of that shit. Stories need to be in Greentext. I'll get things going with my own. New to this, so sorry if I fuck up Greentext. 6 years ago, be me, 15 years old. Camping with my dad and a couple other families at Alice Lake, British Columbia. In one of those camping areas with rows of man-made sites, decently spaced. All sites were in R on the edge of the camping area, right next to a steep, forested hill. Dark as fuck looking up the hill. There's a point where the light just stops. You can see the trunks of the last row of trees, but after that, it's just pitch black. One night, we're all at one site. Happens to be the furthest site from everything else. Dad and friends are drinking and smoking while I stare up the hill, bored, and listen to music. Out of the corner of my eye, catch a glimpse of something moving. Can't really tell what it is. Person, maybe? Thing's just at that dark edge of trees, loping sort of like an ape or maybe a rabbit. Reaches out with arms and pushes legs to bring them forward. Thing gets closer, starting to see a few details. Looking less and less like a person. Skinny as fuck, almost skeletal. Really pale skin, hairless. Face looks kind of like a shortened pit bull snout, no ears, and really smooth features. Holy fuck. JPEG. Scared as fuck but can't look away out of twisted fascination. Thing turns a little bit and starts heading up the hill and disappears into the darkness beyond the last line of visible trees. Silently shit myself. Don't tell anybody for fear of nobody believing.
I live right on the edge of a national park. There's a pretty easy trail that starts a couple minutes walk from my house. It's a pretty short trail, so people often walk their dogs along it and shit like that. During the first month of COVID lockdowns, I spent a couple of hours from about 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. or so every other day sitting behind some brush under a big pine uphill from the trail. The gaps in the bush let me get a glimpse of when people were walking past, but they couldn't see me. Whenever someone walked past, I would let out the most demonic, inhuman screech I could manage. I wanted to see if I could start a cryptid legend in the area. It didn't take off, and I got bored of it eventually. I got some good reactions, though. Keck, one guy absolutely ate shit and fell off his bike, turned sheet white, then frantically got back on it and sped off, making that primal sort of fear whine. It was hilarious. I'm still waiting for the day I see a dramatized Greentext on here about it.
All right, I promised. And now I will deliver just for reference. I'm currently 20. But at the time of the story, I was 18. Just around the time COVID started getting bad. Once again, not great at Greentext. Deal with it. Be me 18. And school means nothing because COVID basically gave me a free pass to graduate as I no longer was forced into doing the curriculum. Decide I want to go Innawoods and be away from society for a while. Decide to go to some BLM land and fuck around. Bureau of Land Management for you who don't have it in other states. It's basically open land to camp on and etc., but not any facilities for modern luxuries. Have a shitty Turkshit shotgun in 20 gauge and decide to bring it along. Also convinced my girlfriend who's 3 years older than me to buy a pistol and let me borrow it for the trip. Based Jericho, 941 FS and 9mm for those who care. Didn't want to get raped by homeless/druggies, so I kept it on me at all times. camping, eating the baked beans and etc. Normal shit. No spooks just yet or anything. Nights were peaceful and slept comfortably in my tent. A couple of days in after, I deciding to go into town for the day, come back to destroyed tent. Thankfully left nothing of value at my campsite other than just my tent, cause setting it up is annoying. Oh well, I'll sleep in my car. I'm sure some druggies got mad after it was empty. Decide as well to not stay there since not trying to get mugged in my sleep or have my windows broken. Go to a less visited part of the land and stay there. Do nothing for rest of day, just be kinda bummed about tent since it was expensive. First night sleeping in car, have intense feeling of being watched or something is near me. Shrug it off as just being spooked since tent got fucked. I've been camping since I was a baby, so not really scared of woods at night since I'm smarter than the average bear and was in Boy Scouts since forever. Can't shrug feeling of being watched, so just take some melatonin and drift off into sleep. Wake up in a cold sweat and swear for just a second. After I woke up, I saw eyes leering in through my window. Sit up and look around my car and see nothing at all. Assume it was just a hypnagogic hallucination from my groggy mind. After calming myself down, fall back asleep. Wake up and step outside my car to pee and set up camp stove for breakfast. After I started to boil some water for oatmeal, look at my car to see a giant scratch along the side, as if someone keyed my car in my sleep. Get even more mad as I start feeling this trip is cursed to ruin all my shit. Eat and nothing out of the ordinary happens again till nightfall. Up reading one of those military survival books. In car with flashlight cause I don't want to run my car or maintain a fire. Hear a death squeal from a rabbit and freak as I hadn't even encountered a small animal other than hearing random birds calls till now. Assume a coyote or something has done well to hide, and so I step outside of my car and yell fuck off to scare anything away from my camp. Immediately hear a quite angry sounding screech. Fuck that .jpg. Hop back in my car and lock doors, recheck my pistol and pull shotgun out from under back seat. Stay up for a considerable time checking my watch every couple of minutes, eventually decide I'm being a pussy and should just sleep but keep my shotgun by my side. Sleepy times. Wake up from my car bouncing up and down as if someone is walking on my car. WTF.AVI. Immediately hop up and look at hood and trunk, not seeing anything. Huh? Check my 360-degree radius and see nothing. Suddenly, it's as if a sharp nail is tapping methodically against my roof. Motherfucker thinks he can spook me hell. Nah. Grab shotgun and put my back to door and push it open to blast this motherfucker on my roof. Fall on ground and try to acquire target, but nothing is on my car. Think someone might be in woods throwing rocks, so grab flashlight and pan around looking for someone. Nothing. Fuck this, hop in car and stay up till dawn. I'm not leaving till daylight, but also not trying to get murdered by hobos. Finally, daylight approaches and I hop out and collect my garbage and assorted junk from around my new site. At this point, I'm so tired of getting fucked with, I decide to unreasonably hunt this dude messing with me. Decide to find another campsite but set up a decoy sleeping area as if I were going to sleep under the stars, instead of my car set random shit under a blanket and make a campfire and roll a log seat over to make it look legit. Once again hear and see nothing till nightfall. Incognito anon time. I'm hiding in my car, barely able to see the decoy sleeping area. It's around midnight when I see a large man walk over to the decoy bed with some type of cudgel in his hand, starts whacking the decoy. Splinter Cell conviction time as I pop out shotgun in hand with handgun tucked in pants. Remember how I said my shotgun was Turk shit? Pull trigger, click. Nothing. Gun doesn't fucking fire. I'm about 6'2", pretty lean at 165 pounds. Man is easily 7 feet or taller. Definitely not a goat man or skinwalker, but fucker is ugly as hell. Smells of shit and ironically copper for not being a skinwalker. Looks almost Neanderthal in nature, and his large club doesn't help the comparison. Drop Turk shit and whip out the pistol, putting terrible shots in stomach area and whiffed one into club arm. Hear that terrible screech from the other night and connect the dots. Fuck this, I'm leaving. Funnily and luckily enough, we both retreat. Him into the woods and me into my car. Drive 90 till in town, not really able to sleep that night. Don't return to campsite till morning. Thankfully shit is all there. Shotgun I left is smashed, but oh well. Blanket and my other random junk is also fucked, goddammit. Like $500 worth of shit ruined. Collect what I can and Scout's honor leave no trace cleaning up all the mess I made. Figure police won't help, so just go home dumbfounded at my interaction with this caveman. Told my girlfriend and she doesn't believe me. Thinks I took acid or something and had a crazy last night of hallucinations. No satisfying ending, never heard of a caveman or druggie found dead or anything like that around there. Sometimes still hear tapping on the roof of my car in the early morning or late at night when I'm parked, but it's not like it followed me home. TLDR Innawoods Anon meets caveman and ruins most of his camping kit by deciding to hunt it. So what do y'all think? Did I encounter a crazy tall druggie or legit caveman? BTW homie looked like that geeko caveman.
Hey/X/. I haven't posted on here before, but I've been lurking here for ages. Anyways, figured I'd contribute to Spooky Month by sharing the various cryptid encounters I've had living on my farm in the middle of bumfuck Southern Africa. Don't really know where to start, so I'll give you a list of some of the creatures I encountered and let you choose which ones you want to hear about. One called him the Lurker, approximately 6 feet tall, gray, naked humanoid. You ever seen that picture of the rake? That's pretty much it. Located usually in the East Forest, looking in at my house, creeping around in bushes. Nasty fucker. Pretty sure it's responsible for killing a bunch of my chickens. Never attacked people on my farm, runs away screaming like a pig if you shoot at it. Genuinely terrified the fuck out of me on multiple occasions. Comes out of nowhere, especially late afternoon/night. 2. The Gremlins. 1 to 2 feet tall bipeds with jet black fur. Bright green eyes. Best description I can give is cat or monkey hybrid. Located in the West Forest, usually saw them near my cabin. Ecologist buddy saw some with me one day. Says they're probably just some rare offshoot species of monkey. Curious little critters, usually never caused me much trouble, but made me shit major bricks on one occasion. Pretty intelligent, even for monkeys. Seen them hold sharp sticks like weapons. 3. The Tree Man. This one was weird, only ever saw it twice that I can remember, but I dreamt about it multiple times after first encounter. Pagan or witch friend says it's a fey spirit. Don't really believe it, but maybe you do. Pretty damn tall, like 9 or 10 feet. Vaguely human-shaped tree, never saw him move, but would appear in a place I knew there never was a tree, only to fucking disappear when I look back. That's it for now. Let me know what you want to hear about first. Got some others if you guys are interested.
Tell us more about the Lurker and the Tree Man. Sounds hella creepy. Also, is it your opinion that these creatures may be supernatural?
I'll start with the Lurker. There have been a lot of posts here in the past about creatures that match its description, so it might be a similar entity. Anyways, I'll green text the spookiest encounter as best I can. Be me, 4 years ago, so about 18. Chilling in my room late at night, playing games with some friends. Internet was slow as all hell, but it worked. My bedroom windows directly face the East Forest. Got them cracked open because it's hot as fuck. Take headphones off and light up a cigarette. Hear something move outside. There's lots of deer and shit that live in the area, so I kind of ignore it. A few minutes later, I hear another noise. Something tap once on my window. Pretty loud. See, initially I don't care, because I have a Great Dane that would get up on its hindquarters and lean on my window with its front paws, usually because she wanted to sleep inside. Moment of realization smacks me like a train. She had died very suddenly a week or 2 prior. Hadn't completely set in that she was gone. What the fuck was leaning on my window? Spotlight outside casting a shadow on the curtains of somebody just standing there. Holy shit, what the fuck? JPEG. Think someone is breaking in, shotgun is upstairs. Fucking bolt over to my cupboard and grab a paintball gun. As I slam the cupboard doors open, I can hear rustling outside. Rip the curtains open and push the window, paintball gun ready. Nothing close to my window anymore, but scanning the tree line, I fucking see it. Peeking out from behind a tree, occasionally ducking back, and then peeking out again. Heart pounding, I empty out the fucking paintball gun. Don't even think I hit it, but the noise definitely scared it away. As it's running away, it starts shrieking, kind of like a distressed pig would, but raspier. I assume since my big-ass dog wasn't in the yard anymore, this thing got the balls to come closer to the house. The tree man is a bit more of a complicated story. I'll try fit it in one post. Be boring-ass Sunday doing nothing. Decide I'll take a walk to the cabin and chill there for the day. Pack a bag, air rifle, water, ciggies, power bank for phone, can of Monster, and shitty Bluetooth speaker. Gonna be a good day. Walk to cabin takes 15 or 20 minutes if you walk fast. Set up at cabin, put bag in shade, start bumping jams on the speaker, shooting at bottles and shit with pellet gun. Do this for like 4 hours, lose track of time. At some point it gets really fucking hot, even for that time of year. Sweating bullets, sit down in shade, crack open Monster, light ciggy, hell yeah. As I'm going about my business, something suddenly grabs my attention. North of the cabin, still in the clearing, there's a tree with 2 trunks that join into one higher up. That wasn't there before. It's literally like 15 feet away from me. Look higher up, 2 branches on either side, like arms. Arm branches are slightly outspread, like it was about to embrace something. The more I look, the more this fucking thing looks human. The branches that make up its legs, arms, and torso actually have definition. This tree thing is built like a really tall, skinny human. Reckon it must be about 10 feet tall. Realized my ears were ringing. I think they had been the whole time I was looking at the thing. The thing that made my blood go cold were the 2 white eyes in this thing's head, just staring at me, unblinking. Feels like I've been staring at this thing for hours when I eventually snap out of it. My eyes hurt. I blink hard a few times and rub my eyes. When my eyes eventually refocus, I look back at the spot where it was standing. It's fucking gone. For the next few weeks, I keep dreaming about this thing. The dreams are always me standing in a clearing, and this scary fucking tree just staring at me, occasionally getting closer, until I shit bricks and wake up. And to answer your last question, I really don't know if it's supernatural. I used to be a hardcore skeptic before I moved onto the farm. My parents were too. But when your atheist dad starts carrying the shotgun around if he was outside at night, in case he needs to shoot a lurker, you begin to open up to the possibility of the supernatural. Still, my skeptic brain kicks in every now and then. I think about the possibility that the lurker is just a feral human, and that perhaps the gremlins really were just monkeys that hadn't been documented yet. We discover new species of animals so often it seems possible. The only thing I trip up on when trying to be skeptical is the fucking tree man. I know what I saw, and that motherfucker doesn't like me much. Pagan friend heard my description of it and was convinced I encountered some kind of fae or forest spirit. She tried to convince me it was mad at us for cutting down the trees and that the land must have been sacred. It did get me thinking. A few months before I first encountered the tree man, we were burning fire breaks, and I accidentally let the fire break catch a huge drove of dead grass. Dumbest mistake I ever made. I'd say that 70% of the West Forest was burnt down in that fire. It took 2 days, and all of our neighbors helped to stop that damn fire. Something that makes me deeply sad whenever I think about it is that I'm pretty sure the fire burned straight through the gremlins' habitat. I never saw them again. Sure, they spooked me once or twice, but overall they seemed harmless. I really hope they just moved. But yeah, maybe Tree Man is the angry spirit of the forest. It would make sense if Pagan Friend is right. Pick related, not mine, but accurate representation.
Erect a big fuck-off cross at your east gate.
Ha ha, yeah. Second time the lurker came up to my window, I started shouting the Lord's Prayer. Not super Christian, but figured I'd give it a shot. For whatever reason, the fucker got so mad he cracked my window, taking a swipe at it and bolted off. Mother, previously Jewish, and father, very atheist, were pretty confused. We ended up laughing about it, even though started wearing the crucifix my GF gave me more often.
Yeah, got any more stories about the gremlins? Also, you said some of the creatures. Were there any others?
Well, yeah, like I said, the gremlins were pretty chill, but I got 2 stories about them to share. Second one's a bit more interesting, but I'll give them to you in chronological order. Be chilling at cabin, like a year before the Tree Man incident. Doing the usual, shooting targets, consuming disgusting amounts of nicotine and caffeine, but no tunes today. Out of nowhere, rustling from the bushes all around, and one by one, no less than a dozen of these little dudes appear from the forest. Shiny black fur, monkey-like bodies but with pointy ears like a cat, and shiny green eyes. Some holding sharp sticks, and I think one just had a rock. My first reaction was that they were pretty cute. Takes me a second to realize that I've never seen these fuckers before in any farm, nature reserve, or animal channel. Holy shit.jpg. The biggest in the group comes, takes a step or two closer to me, rears up and bares his chest. For some fucking reason, I shout at it, doing my best impression of the baboons that are native to this area. Probably sounded so fucking stupid. Big guy bares his fangs in retaliation and makes some sort of hissing noise. Feel like he's wanting to attack me, so I load a pellet into my air rifle and shoot at him. The second I pull the trigger, I realize what a dumb fucking idea that was, because they could run up and attack me much faster than I could reload. Anyways, I completely fucking miss, and they all scatter back into the woods. Second gremlin encounter. Be holidays, so Eco-Friend and Pagan Friend are both staying at the house for a few days. Eco-Friend wants to go Innawoods after hearing about my first gremlin encounter. Pagan Friend would rather stay in and smoke weed. Don't like weeds, so fuck it. Eco-Friend and I set off for the cabin and from there, go deeper into the woods. He takes my dad's binoculars off the shelf and shoves them in my bag. Seems like overkill, but good idea, I guess. Walk for like 2 hours, being as quiet as possible so we don't scare the little dudes away. Getting tired, so we sit down on a big-ass rock for a break. Rock's elevated just enough that we can see over most of the shrubs and shit. We didn't talk, just sat quietly and caught our breath. Zoned out completely when suddenly I hear Buddy whisper, in the quietest, most still voice I've ever heard. "Anon, pass me the fucking binoculars." Being as quiet as I can, I gently remove them from my satchel and pass them over. He points them at a gap between the tall gum trees, a sort of natural clearing. After looking for a while, he passes them to me. He's visibly shaking. I learned later this was from pure excitement. Sure enough, he had spotted a single one of these little guys, hunched over what looked like a little clay bowl. He was eating out of it. He'd stick his hand in the bowl, shove something in his mouth, look around while he was chewing, and then take another bite. I guess Eco-Friend couldn't contain his excitement, because when he jumped off of the rock, he stumbled and kinda ate shit. Noise of him falling makes gremlins scatter. Looks like he left his bowl behind. We go investigate the little guy's snack spot. The bowl is super basic, poorly fashioned out of mud. Kinda shat when we saw what he was eating out of the bowl. It was about half full of dead ladybugs. Eco-Friend deduced that they must be mainly insectivores and clearly preferred ladybugs. Well, yeah, there were others, not really cryptids for me, but weird animals nonetheless. There was a large owl that was completely white, weird because no white owls native to the area. Similarly, often spotted a bushbuck that was also plain white. For me, definitely not supernatural, they were probably just albino, but weird that it happened twice. Also feel like I should mention the owl flew into our glass sliding door at full fucking speed the day my uncle received his terminal cancer diagnosis. Chalked it up to a spoopy coincidence.
Yeah, this is at least pretty entertaining. Requesting either some more detailed versions of stories, other encounters with the tree man, or other stories you may have. Get some sleep, bro. It's important.
Thanks, friend. Well, I only ever saw a tree man while awake once again after first encounter. But it was probably the worst thing I went through at that farm. Back out at the cabin months after the first encounter. At this stage, I'd all but forgotten about the tree man, out at the cabin at night. Hardly ever do this because I don't want to run into lurker. Don't give a fuck tonight because girlfriend broke up with me and I've been drinking my sorrows away at my favorite spot all day. Brandy and Coca-Cola, yummy. While I am drunk and depressed, I do notice that the moon looks fucking amazing tonight. Full moon that night, so it's surprisingly bright for like 8 p.m., finish the brandy, and stumble over to a tree to take a piss. The second I start pissing, I get fucking pushed over. Feels like I got kicked by a horse. On my back, pants around my knees, I'm scrambling backwards trying to see what hit me. Think I'm seeing double because the tree in front of me has 2 trunks. Wait. Fuck.jpg. Look up, and tree man is towering over me, blocking the moon. The only light I can see now are those two glowing white eyes. One hand outstretched, like he's about to grab my head. Immediately feel sober, I'm freezing, and my ears are ringing loud as hell. He's really mad, I can feel it in the air. Feels like I'm paralyzed. I'm so focused on his glowing white eyes I can't fucking move. Can't snap out of it like last time. Basically stuck in a trance like this. Either until he lets me go, or I passed out from exhaustion. Woken up by my mother the next day. Getting absolutely shat on for not coming home last night. The fact that I'm pantless, lying next to an empty liquor bottle certainly doesn't help. That day suffered the highest fever I ever had. Spent most of the day puking. Eyes were practically swollen shut. Baseball-sized bruise on my chest. Back and ass are scratched up pretty bad. That night burned into my brain. Dream about it for months after. While I never saw him again, I never could shake the feeling that Tree Man was watching me. Literally get intense anxiety or panic attacks if I stay in Innawoods too long. Feels like he's there, hence me moving to the beach. Things are a lot better now. Been at least a year since I even went to the farm. Willem looks after it now. Pretty sure he's aware of everything, but he's very religious, so I guess he just prays the spookies away. If I ever go back to the farm, Pagan friend says I should start bearing eggs, milk, and honey in the evening as a gift to the spirits in the forest. Actually considering doing it. While he scares the fuck out of me, I feel like I need to apologize to Tree Man and the gremlins. Not Lurker, fuck that thing. Guess I should elaborate too on my father's experience with the Lurker. Interior perimeter fence is fully electrified. Little plastic things that fasten the wires to the pole break often, always at night too. This shorts the circuit out and makes the fence alarm go off. From our investigations, this almost always happens because something pushed its way between the bottom wire and the ground. Thinking to myself that shriveled up Lurker probably doesn't give two shits about a little shock. Anyways, every time this happened, Father and I would have to grab a spare plastic thing and some tools and walk the entire perimeter fence to find which one had broken this time. First few times we went without any weapons or anything. One night the alarm goes off, I rush to the garage. Father puts on his shoes. We make it about 10 meters out the door when my father stops dead in his fucking tracks. This is a hardened South African farmer. I've never seen this motherfucker scared of anything. "Anon, get inside." He spoke so deliberately I didn't even question it. He follows me inside and emerges from his room a few seconds later with the shotgun. Hardly ever saw that man with a gun, but tonight he was practically a /K commando. We get back outside and Dad points the gun into the distance. I follow where he's aiming. Sure enough, the fucking Lurker is gawking at us from behind a tree. Even worse, this tree is within the interior perimeter. Dad unloads on the fucking thing. I know nothing about guns, but it's one of those pump actions that load like 8 or 9 rounds. I know at least some of the buckshot connected, because this thing goes screaming back under the fence and into the forest at full speed, leaving a few spots of muddy brown blood. Explained to him that that was the thing outside my window. Says if he ever sees it again, he'll kill it and bury it in the septic tank. Badass.mp4.
I don't know if OP is sleeping, but with that owl, look into the Tatarimoke. Do you know the history of the land?
Never heard of them. History of the land is pretty vague. We built the houses, but Pagan friend believes land was somehow sacred. Phoned Willem today. Gonna go back to farm and try get pictures of the things and share them on /x/. More details to come later. Otherwise, thread is slowly dying. Does anyone have any other questions or want to share any similar experiences to keep it alive for a bit longer? Thanks for Cozy Thread, bros.
Holy fuck, you pissed on it? Bro, how are you still alive? Yeah, alright, as if I needed any new reasons to never set one foot on that cursed continent. Your father sounds like a total badass, though.
Ha 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 ha. Thanks, bro. I don't know. I certainly felt dead for a good while after. Yeah, Africa isn't for the faint of heart. Have a look into Zulu culture and cryptids, like the Tokoloshi, and even some Boer legends like the Grootslang. You'll find there's some fucked up shit going on here.
Great thread, Farmer Spook. This is the first telling I've seen anywhere of the rake being spotted outside of the US, Russia, and the Middle East. There's enough footage and sightings of these things, that it's looking like they are a legit yet monstrous humanoid species that lives underground and comes out at night for food. They are fast, much faster than humans, strong, and can climb like monkeys. You are in a unique position to bag one of these fuckers and finally show close-up footage of what these things look like. This is long overdue. How about busting out a hunting rifle and sniping one for us? This is more important than Bigfoot.
Yeah, always found it interesting that there were so many similar sightings. Gun laws in South Africa are much more stringent than America. But if I ever get my hands on a good rifle, Willem and I are going to kill the fucking thing, and /X/ will be the first place to see it. For now, plan is to get as much photographic evidence as I can. Pal of mine has an old DSLR camera and some SD cards he's willing to sell to me. Spoke to a friend who has motion-activated cameras he used to track boar. If or when I get a pic of the lurker or rake, I'll post it here under the same name, and I'll post a link to the new thread in this one, so bookmark this if you want to track it. No idea how long it'll take. By far the most /K commando thing I've ever done. I haven't seen the gremlins in a very long time, but we'll spend some time in the West Forest, see if I can get some snaps if any are left. I think getting pics of Tree Man is a lost cause. Seems like it does things of its own accord. I'm gonna signal boost this post later tonight, so more American homies can see it. I want to hear as many rake or lurker stories as possible, see if anyone's ever made contact. If you're just now seeing this thread, please feel free to share similar stories or give tips for cryptid photography. This might actually fucking happen /X/.